Hey, it's Coach Kat, founder of Symphonic Mind Body Coaching. Welcome to the SMBC YouTube series, Cat Chats, where I sit down with incredible humans to explore how they move through life, find their rhythm, and stay balanced. Today, I am super excited to be sitting here with Michelle. Michelle is a storyteller and marketing manager at Moxie. She is a wife, a mother to three daughters, as well as to a sweet doggy. Michelle, thank you for being here. How are you today?
I'm good. My dog is getting used to our redesigned layout and she is like right here. Like
What kind of
she's
dog?
always got to be close. She is a Beagle Pit Bull mix. And I think we got the best of like of both breeds. Like she's like loyal like a pit bull, she's lazy like a pit bull. She's, and then she's like, she knows how to get up and like be a little silly like a beagle. So
Of
I feel like
course.
we got very lucky.
I'm gonna need some pictures later.
Yes, definitely. For sure.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Also, is this a work day for you? Like, are you doing this in the middle of your work
Oh
day?
yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
my
And
God.
and,
Thank you
and
so
whenever I
much.
want.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much. I'm even more grateful then. Amazing. Well, Michelle, outside of the little mini bio that I just gave, could you tell the people a little more about who you are, where you're from, and where you currently reside?
Yeah, so I'll go backwards. So
Mhm.
currently I reside just north of Denver, Colorado. I am from upstate New York. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. There were more cows than people in my town. And who I am, I feel like I have been saying that like I have like a bit of a setter personality. Like, I really love to help visionary founders and folks execute on a vision that they're really excited about. I am not a visionary human being. That is not my jam. So I always thought that like you had to be that to like be a person, like to be a grown up. And then I realized like not everybody is that, and I'm not one of those people. But those people need the balance that I can bring where I can say, like, cool, love the vision. Let me help you get there.
Period. Yes, we need you. You are needed, and your work is valued and appreciated. So thank you.
Yeah, it was a funny thing. Like I worked with the CEO and he would say like, "Man, I don't want you to have to help me with my email. It's going to take you so long." I was like, "No, it's not. I'm already reading your emails. It's going to take me less than 30 minutes to get through that." He's like, "What?" It's like, it takes me half an hour to respond to every email. I was like, don't do that. You're being ridiculous. Let me help you. Like, I can help you. My brain does not function that way. Like, let me just help you with all of that and I'll tap you in when you need it. And it was amazing. He was like so blown away by the fact that like I would enjoy doing something like that or like enjoying like getting a to-do list down, making a nice little spreadsheet. Like that is like my jam. And he was like, what? I didn't know people liked that.
You're like speaking my language.
I was like,
Give them
not
to
only do
me.
I like that, I love that. I am that. Please.
We all need a Michelle in our lives, personal and professional.
Yes, yes, I love that.
All right. Well, Michelle, I am going to jump right in. So I noticed your opening sentence, which I loved on your LinkedIn bio, and it states, I spent over a decade learning from teenagers and volunteers about how the world really works. So can you tell us how did you become kind of immersed in these groups and what specific things did you learn?
Yeah. Oh man, I think I learned way more from them than like any of my students ever learned from me. So, all through like high school and college, I always worked with like students like younger than I was. And then as an adult, I worked with middle school and high school students. And I think that they are some of the most like honest and genuine humans. They, especially middle schoolers, they're like so fun. You could convince them to like, like go to a mall and like sing in the middle of the food court if, we're all like singing along, like they're down for that. And they also can have like a real genuine conversation about what's happening in their life. And you don't get that like thing that adults do, which is like, well, I need to like look good for this person, so I better not say exactly what I'm thinking. I love, you could trust a middle school student to tell you like, you're looking a little rough today. They're
Yes,
like,
that part.
Michelle, like do you have a zit on your face? Like, yeah, yeah, I do. Thanks for calling it out. Appreciate that. But I love that element of like, I don't want to have to guess what you're thinking. I love to know what you're thinking and how much value there is in that. And the way that they like kind of move in and out of like different spaces, like they are doing so much code switching without realizing, like between like their friends and like me as like sort of a trusted adult in their situation, and then like with their siblings and like with their parents. And so just watching how adept they are at like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And also how they can challenge that. Like, well, I'm supposed to do this, but I'm gonna also do this other thing that I really want to do. And so I feel like they taught me a lot about having fun, not taking things too seriously, and being able to get into any situation and try stuff.
That's, I think, especially that last thing that you just said, try new things, right? I feel like the older we get, we forget about that play and about the creative side of ourselves. And we forget to play. We forget to do things that we enjoy or learn about things that we didn't even realize we enjoy, right? And I
Yes.
think it's so important. That's what makes that's what truly makes life rich. It's not the money, right? It's those experiences and it's those discoveries, especially with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to do that. I think people always say like it keeps you young, but I think it's really, it keeps you like living life to its fullest.
100%. And I don't know about you, but I'm definitely somebody who believes that, like, listen, you're never too old to try new things, right? Like, I could be, God willing, I could be in my 70s and be like, you know what? I've been interested in landscaping. Like, why don't we give it a go? As long as
Yeah.
my knees and my back cooperate, why not?
I mean, the knees in the back thing, but
I'm trying to be realistic, but
yes, I like
also,
it. I like it.
we want to have fun.
Yes, I love that.
So, all right. So, one of my hobbies, which I know I shared with you on a questionnaire that you sent out a while ago, is music production and songwriting. So, I do, just as a side, I belong to a collective of independent artists for a nonprofit called the Wavies. Shout out Wavies. So, with that, I would just love to hear more about your marketing background, especially, what piqued your interest about the nonprofit radio and event space.
Yeah, so it does feel like a wild ride to get there. I started in radio at that was like the nonprofit that I worked for, and I grew up like I mentioned in this like super small town, and so we had this radio station. That was like what I did. That this makes me feel and sound very old, and that is because I am. But I basically like at 7 p.m. My mom and I would sit and listen to the radio and eat ice cream. Like we always listened to the same radio station. And then I found out that like, I don't know, some wild relationship to me, like my dad's cousin's daughter, I honestly don't know how we're related, was married to somebody that worked at the radio station. And so his name is Bob Price, classic radio name. I think that might be his real name, actually.
Wow.
And my mom was like, well, let's go. Like, we can go to the radio station. We like know this guy. I was like, we don't know this guy.
Look at
So
mom
we
going
like,
for it.
I know she's like, yeah, we do. We know this guy. So he was so nice. He was a news anchor. So like not kind of in, I like did not want to be a news anchor, but he was so nice and like talked to me like as a teenager about radio, and like the best piece of advice he gave me that applies like not just in marketing, is applied like across the board in my whole life, was to like pay attention and ask good questions no matter who you're talking to, because it's always going to serve you. Of course, he was like a news guy, so like he was a journalist, so he was always really asking a lot of these questions, and I think that he was hoping that that's what I would do as well. It wasn't. But that has really served me so well in my life in general. Like, whatever it is that you're doing, like, I want to know more about it. Like, if you care about it, I want to care about it too, because it's probably really interesting. It's going to be even more interesting because you care about it. So that's the best way, I think, to learn about anything is from someone who really loves it. And so that really launched me kind of into radio and nonprofit. And of course, like in nonprofits, it's like it's a fun and challenging thing to be a part of, because it's not about the money. You just said that like earlier. You know, it is about like, man, I really like believe in this thing. I really believe it's helping the people around me. So I've kind of been like, Moxie is not a nonprofit. Like I work for like I am kind of a serial contractor at this point. So there's, I've kind of moved out of that space a little bit, but like finding that why and the meaning, even if it's not necessarily about the company that I'm working for, but about like why I'm there, I think that will always stay with me.
That's great. And that's a huge piece of wisdom that you also shared about being curious and asking questions and just, that realizing that's how we learn best. I don't know about you, but like for a long time, I think I really struggled with speaking up and asking questions. Like I don't know if I just felt like my questions weren't intelligent enough and I was just doing the whole imposter syndrome and comparing myself to others. But I mean, it really is the best way to learn. And if you have someone in front of you that is willing to share their wisdom, then take that opportunity.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a game too of like, okay, okay, I'll go back to my like experience with students, which is like, all right, I know this kid plays a sport. And I could say, like, okay, Kat, tell me about your basketball team. And if you're like, yeah, like whatever we practice, I'm like, oh, nope, that's not the thing. Let's like, and it's so fun to try to find the thing that really lights you up as like, oh, but like music production, that's the thing I really want to talk about. And oh, I got to talk about like this organization that I'm a part of. Like, I'm like really jazzed to like flip the script here in at a later point and have you on my podcast
Yay! I'm excited
and
about
talk
that
to you about
too.
it.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Thank you. And then speaking of artists and creatives, at the sort of core of marketing is storytelling. And I feel like we're hearing this almost like a 2026 buzzword right now. So can you share, for better or worse, like, it is what it is.
AI or storytelling, no in between.
Nope, not anymore. Can you share what was the kind of boldest or most interesting creative risk that you've ever taken, and how do you feel like you grew from it?
So I feel like you like entered this as like I worked for Moxie and then I have not talked about it all. So I'll give you two stories. I think the true like boldest thing I ever took on was actually in like my like nonprofit event space. We like ran this massive camp for like 500 people, and we just had to like do the whole thing and like sell parents on like your kid's going to be really safe, and then sell kids on that like this is going to be the most fun you've ever had in your whole life. And we did like full camp things, and it was so much fun. I have this like very distinct memory. We made these like giant Tetris blocks that like
Ooh.
you had to like build, like that was just like one of so many things we did, but you had to like build with them, so we had to like make them, put them together, paint them, and then we had to like transport them, so that anyway, the whole thing. That's probably like the biggest undertaking that was like also creative, is like pulling kind of all of these strings to make like a really fun and also like engaging and also safe environment. I think on, kind of my like tech tech side. Um, I'm not sure this counts as a creative risk, but it felt very risky to me at the time. We did a big rebrand. So Moxie used to be called Hectic when we first
Hmm.
launched. And then in 2023, I believe, we rebranded to Moxie. So did everyone. There are so many Moxies. There is like the Moxie robot. There's like a very popular pest control that's called Moxie. We get a lot of emails from. But our company builds software for freelancers and was like, we're doing this fun, you know, you get to do all the fun stuff with the rebrand, and then it kind of comes down to like, all right, here's what we're doing. And the first logo set that came down was very cool, very close to what we ended up with, but it definitely said Noxie. Like the
Oh
M, like
no.
part, it was part of the graphic was that like it was gonna, you know, complete the M, but I was like, it's not finishing the M. It's definitely Noxie. And I had to like we were like set on it, like telling them to ship it. And I like sent a Slack message to the CEO and was like, this doesn't work. Like, call it back. That definitely says Noxie. That is not our company. And the message back, and me, I could see him typing like immediately. And he was like, I hate you, but you're right. It's like, okay, all right. And I think it's those things that like, you know, obviously there's like risk in, you know, like doing something really bold. And then some of those things are like telling the truth, like making sure that you are like, okay, this is really cool. And we're all really on board with it. And it's so close. And also, it's not right. Like, I think, you know, we had all worked so hard on it that it felt like, oh, maybe we should just ship it. But, you know, having that, like, yeah, the boldness to just say, like, we still can't. Sorry. We're not there.
Yeah. You're like tapping in a little bit to your middle school brain, right?
Yeah,
Where it's like,
totally.
nope, let's go. We got to give some tough love, raw
Yeah.
honesty. I'm sorry, CEO, but it is what it is.
Yes. Now you're seeing a little insight into how I parent too.
Yes. I love that. And also, just FYI, I'm so glad that you all didn't go with hectic because as a solopreneur, if I see the word hectic on anything, I'm like, no,
Well, that's
hard
exactly why
pass.
we rebranded. So, in Australia, hectic is like a very cool thing. Like,
Okay.
so all of our like Aussie users were like, "Yeah, hectic, all right." And then same as you, like solopreneurs were like, "I don't want my life to be hectic." And it's like, well, we were trying to like do a thing, and it didn't work. It didn't work. So here we are, Moxie.
I listen, Moxie, I'm so glad it's the winner.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna sit with Moxie for a minute because this is how you and I connected through the platform, where you work as a marketing manager. And so again, as a solopreneur, I just have to say again, like I really like Moxie. I feel like it's so user friendly. It was so easy for me to use once I learned it. All of the videos and just very cool product. So can you talk a little bit more about, you know, like what you do there, as well as kind of what does the future of Moxie look like?
Oh, great question. Also, really great plug for Moxie. Thanks for doing that. I'll like, you know.
Well, actually, I have to give credit to one of my friends slash coach colleagues. Her name is Michelle. She is the one that sent me a Moxie trial, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And it's a super long trial. I'm like, bet I'm trying it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you got to get into
I
it. You
loved
got to
it.
get through a whole invoicing cycle and then you're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, how do I live without this thing?" That's the
Yes,
key. Like
it
we
was
know it's
great.
good, so you could try it for free as long as, you know, like you got to
Yeah.
get through the whole thing.
Listen,
So,
that was huge. So thank you for
yeah,
that.
I love that. It's good feedback.
Mhm.
So Moxie is like a true startup, right? Like we my friend always says like we drink our own champagne. We work with freelancers. We are freelancers. We're entrepreneurs. You know, like I work for Moxie, but I also have a bunch of other like contract gigs. So I use Moxie. I was so jazzed. I do some like voice work on the side, and I had been sending off my invoices as like a Google Doc, and I would have to be like, did I send this? Did I not send this? Wow, how much do they owe me? Did I charge them for last month? What was I charging them? So to like find out, I was like one of the first people to send out an invoice on Moxie. And the CEO Jeff at the time was like, I can't believe you did that. Like it was brand new. I like came in, you know, like the platform was so new. It was not at all what it is today. And he was like, I can't believe you sent like a real invoice. I was like, sorry, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But in true like startup fashion, you know, we hire a lot. Like a lot of our stuff was built by freelancers. We try to pay our freelancers well. And we're kind of a small, scrappy team. And so we, you know, like I like also love kind of helping test stuff. Like when we get a new feature, I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm gonna go play with it and see how I would use this in my real business. Um, so that's sort of, I feel like I did not describe what Moxie does at all. The real key in Moxie is that it kind of does all of the business stuff of your business. And then you get to actually do like the work that you signed up to do. Unless you signed up to be like a business person, you probably don't love the admin stuff. And so that's kind of what Moxie is. And so in true startup form, I like it to do a bunch of things, which I have learned a lot about, like financing and QA testing, and like technical writing. So all of that is really fun. And what's coming next for Moxie? We just brought on a new CEO. Her name is Scarlett, and she's amazing. She's just a real sharp product human. And so she's so great at driving like, okay, like I want to really find out like what do users want? She's really making it a point here kind of as she starts her time with Moxie to really listen well and ask like, okay, what are you actually using? What's working? Let's try not to break that. What isn't working? Let's try to make that work better for you. So I'm super excited about where we're headed. And, you know, I mentioned, you know, we have storytelling and we have AI. That's kind of the things that everybody's talking about. Like we'll kind of we won't feed that more, but we will make it so that the way that you work, the idea is that you wouldn't have to, you know, also learn another system. Like if you're used to using, you know, a system, like I'm excited about where we're sort of headed so that, you know, you can use Moxie, but use it the way that works for you. That's kind of the beauty of it is it's flexible to be around what your business needs.
Well, thank the Lord you just said that even if changes are coming, it won't be like too different than how
Yeah.
things currently function because
Yes.
I just listen, like I try to embrace change, but when you learn something, especially if you feel like it's new and you haven't done it before, again, as a solopreneur, like you can't really turn to someone else to do it and you've learned it and you feel like you've got your process going, it's hard to then, you know, have to learn it, have to relearn it
Yes.
and relearn it
Yes.
again. So that's good to know.
Yes. It's like when Facebook for a while there, when it was like updating its UI, like it felt
Oh
like
God.
every few months. And it was like, where's my feed? It's like
Where's
that.
the
Like, I
search
don't want to be
bar?
messed with.
Like we're not going to give
Yes.
them
So
their
we're
airtime.
not trying to break stuff for you. We're going to try to keep the stuff you love and improve the stuff that you don't.
Much appreciated. Also, side question. You did mention startup, right? Startup life. You do wear a lot of hats. Is there like a department that you've worked on or like a function that you've done that is outside of marketing that you actually kind of enjoy doing that's different?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have found myself in a lot of like financial operations, which like usually I feel like finance and marketing are like the two most opposite things almost. There's a lot of creativity, but there are two different creative sets that go with each thing. The thing I love about finance is that like you have like a lot of boxes and they happen every month or every quarter, but you check them all off. And I do love that where I feel like, with marketing, it's kind of like never done. It's like, well, I guess I could still attract more people.
Right. There's always a new iteration for a previous iteration.
Yes, exactly.
I get it. I get it.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So, talk to me about how your definition of success evolved from early career Michelle to who you are now.
Oh, okay. That's a great question. I think, early on in my like nonprofit self, it was like so I started in radio, and in radio there's a very clear ladder, right? Like it is, you start as a production person, you might move into like being an on-air personality overnight. Usually people move into like programming, and then you get into like sales, and then you're the GM. Like it's just it's how, you could like track it, and it is like a ladder. But what I saw as kind of the person who was on the bottom rung is that by the time you have climbed the ladder all the way to the top, it's very, very difficult to realize the decisions that you make as the GM really affect the production person. And you have no idea. Because it doesn't really affect you at all. But that change, like I want to make all new sound for the station. Like that all lands on the production person. Like they're trying to make your dreams come true. So for a long time, I think it was like, okay, well, I'm going to climb the ladder, climb the ladder, climb the ladder. And then I went to another nonprofit. That's where I worked with students. And it was like, okay, like this is really fun. I'll probably grow out of this at some point. And then I started working at Moxie part-time from home, which was like such a wild thing. That was like in the pandemic. And I was like, oh my gosh. I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. We were like going on walks at like 10 a.m. and then we'd like hang out in the afternoon. I would take a meeting here and there, but it was really wonderful. And getting to spend that time like doing work for myself and like for my own brain made me a better parent. And then being a parent made me a better like creative like person at work as well. And so it really shifted from that, like, I really need to have like this impressive career to I need to have the freedom to do what I'm like, for to have my own life. And like my family is really the most important thing in my life right now. Like I always want to be a drop off and pick up for my kids at school. Like it is, like I have it blocked in my calendar. Like I don't take meetings during those times. Like I'm always a drop off and pick up because it's so important to just like get to hang out while, my kids are relatively little and they still like hanging out with me. So that's really, I think the shift is that freedom to take a call in the middle of the day or like go get a coffee with a friend or make sure that I'm picking up my kids. Like that has become the most valuable thing to me. And so there's not a lot of things I would do. There's nothing that I would take on that would, if it was going to take that freedom away.
Wow, that's so great that you mentioned, like, you have your established life, work has to fit into that. Like you know what you have, you know what your priorities are, and like it's got to go both ways. It has to be a balance. And that's so great that you leaned into that and that you do have that freedom. And you're absolutely right. Like you're not going to get this time back.
Yeah, and it is, and I recognize it is a massive privilege, right? Like I am very, very fortunate that I have the opportunity to like take that and say like turn down a job because I don't want to give up that time. Like I understand that like that is not the case for so many people, and so I try to like earn that. I've been given so much, and so like earning that as a privilege is also important for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So when you feel like you have kind of hit a block, either personally, professionally, any aspect of your life, what is like the one go-to ritual that you have to reground yourself?
Ooh, great question. I do think this goes back to the question you asked about like what's the other thing that like besides marketing? Because I am a big believer in like the productivity ramp, right? Like if you can get yourself going back in the right direction, then other things will follow. And so I'll like this is the nerdiest thing I could probably say.
Okay.
So at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, this time I'm like often feeling kind of like blah. And so I like never do creative work at this time, but I'll put like I'll put on some K-pop and I will match like receipts and like I'll do like a bunch of accounting work at this time because it's easy. It does not take a ton of like my brain space. It's productive. I get to check the list off. And so then I start myself kind of down this ramp of like, okay, like mundane task, check, 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 check. Like did that. And then I can slide back into like, all right, I'm doing stuff again. So yeah, it's extremely boring. But that's kind of, I think my jam is like, okay, if I need to do some like really deep thought or like creative work, I can slide into it by doing some much less creative work.
Michelle, you call it boring. I call it strategic and smart.
Thank
Right?
you. That's good marketing right there.
Seriously, like I just feel like as an entrepreneur or as a freelancer, like I feel like you learn quickly just about energy consumption, right? And you learn very quickly when it needs to be replenished. And you also know the power of no. You learn
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Sometimes you just have to say no. Sometimes you just need to like take a beat, do something else that maybe brings you a little bit more joy, a little less, brain cell usage
Yes. And
than
the
you
power of a
perhaps.
great walk, you know? Like
Yes, nature.
my I think my dog is like that's her contribution to our office is she's like, I think it's time to go outside.
Yes. Such an
I'm
important
like, yes, you're right.
contribution.
It is time to go outside.
I love that. Well, Michelle, I have one last question for you, which is what is next on the horizon for you?
Ooh, what is next? I mean, I'm hoping for less. Um, actually, way earlier on the Moxie podcast, I talked to Dr. Sarah Moon, and she talks about like being unproductive, and that's kind of like my current aspiration. My summer on like a personal level has not been like the breezy like hanging out summer that I was hoping for. And so my children are little, they don't have any responsibilities. And so summer doesn't really matter to them, you know? It's like they could be easy breezy during the school year. Like after school, they don't have homework. They can, we can still go do all of that fun stuff. And so not feeling like, well, I wasted this time, but embracing even as we head into fall, kind of feeling like, okay, I can still be unproductive and hang out and do some of those things. So that's kind of what's on my list for the most immediate future is less.
Yes, being unproductive. That's a gem right there. Also, I need to go listen to that episode. That sounds
Oh,
really interesting.
anything with Dr. Sarah Moon, she's amazing.
Okay, bet on that. Well, Michelle, thank you again so much for spending time with me. This has been a blast. I already can see you on a future episode. I have so many more questions for you. This was really great. Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much, Kat. I'm excited to talk to you and roll reverse here and just like hear more about you. So I'm
Yay!
super excited. I can't wait to chat with you more soon.
Same. All right. Well, take care. It was so good to meet you.
Same to you.
Bye.